Good morning, students. Let's begin our next topic of the day, that is effects of oxidation reaction in everyday life. It is the last topic of the chapter, yet it is very important. So, what are the effects of oxidation reaction in everyday life? Now, oxidation we have learned already in our previous lecture. When oxygen react with any other substances, it undergoes oxidation, so it changes its form and a new compound is formed. So specifically, oxygen reacts with metal generally. So oxygen reacts with metal, also it also reacts with other substances as well, like inorganic substances or organic substances, so it causes some effects. So the two common effects of oxidation are corrosion of metals, and the other one is rancidity. So first, moving to the corrosion is just the process in which oxygen reacts with a metal, and metal loses its shine, its property, surface become rough and harsh. It can be either by the action of oxygen, or it can be due to the water or moisture present in the atmosphere, or it can also be due to the action of acids, because acids are also corrosive in nature. So when they fall on a metal, they corrode the surface of the metal. So not only oxidation, but there are many other factors which causes corrosion. So basically, corrosion is the process in which metals are eaten up, so they get damages, and it can be very gradual process, not very fast. It will be a slow process. So it can be either by action of air, or by moisture, or by a chemical such as acids on their surface. So this is called as corrosion. So corrosion is also called by oxygen, or oxidation also causes corrosion. You would have seen many metals, they just loses their shine, their luster. That is why people wear gold ornaments, because gold is not it is very less reactive. That is why gold and platinum are used to make jewelries, because they do not get oxidized, because they lie very at a very low order in the reactivity series. So the elements which are very highly reactive will react very fast with the oxygen, and hence they will cause corrosion. So the corrosion of iron is called as rusting. So when iron metal corrode, or when iron metal oxidizes with the oxygen, or with the water or moisture, so it changes to rust. So only the corrosion of iron is called as rusting. So it is a most common phenomena which you would have seen. So now, when an iron object is left in a damp, so when any iron object is left in a damp air for a time, for quite some time, so it is covered with a red brownish color of substances. That is a flaky substance. That means flaky means that it falls off. If after some time that layer is not permanent, the upper layer, the powdery red substance is not permanent, it will fall off, and hence the inner portion of the iron will also get rust, and it will also flake off, and like this process will continue, and at last there will be time when the iron metal will be gone. It will be all formed into the red brown powder. So the rusting of iron is very dangerous for the iron metal, because it gets eaten away by the process of oxidation. So this is called as a rusting. So when an iron object is left in damp air means it also needs moisture, it also needs oxygen. So you would have also done in class A, there was an activity when you have to keep that iron nail in a test tube, where one test tube is filled with only air and an iron nail, and one is half filled with water and half is air, and the other one is filled with the boiled water. So what you'll see after some days, the iron nail which is filled with the boiled water does not get rust at all, because boiled water does not have dissolved oxygen, and it does not have any oxygen also. So it is very clean. You also will be rusting a topic in your chapter number 3 in the chemistry portion, so they will be learning in detail. So here you have to just learn about the effects. So effects are corrosion, and the corrosion of iron is called as rusting. That is it, you have to learn only this. So here's a reaction also, how it is caused. So it's Fe, that means iron reacts with oxygen Okay, so here I've balanced the equation. That is why it's 4 here and 3 here. I hope you understand that. Along with oxygen, it's water also, because it's clear that in the damp air, so damp air contains water. And here's the X I have written because how many molecules of water, it's not sure. It can be more than 2 also. So X is the number of water molecules. It can be if of any number. Moisture can be high moisture or less moisture. It does not take any difference. So we have just written X here, which causes Fe2O3 dot H2O. So this is Fe2O3 is called as iron oxide. So because water is added in this, so it's called as hydrated iron, because the formula will be having number of water molecules along, but it's X here because it's not confirm how many water molecules. It can be 2 also, it can be 10 also. So it will form a hydrated iron third oxide. So that's called as rust. Hydrated is called because here water is added in the formula, so it is hydrated, and hydra means water. So this is called as rusting. Then moving to our next topic, that how can we prevent rusting. Before that, we'll be learning about rusting of iron is also a redox reaction. That means when rusting of iron takes place, this is a redox reaction. That means oxidation is also taking place and reduction is also taking place. So reduction means the removal of oxygen is called as reduction, and addition of oxidation oxygen is called oxidation. Here you can see that here the oxygen is adding in iron Fe, so it's oxidation here, but from here it is removing somehow, so it is also a reduction. Okay, I hope it's clear. So the black coating on silver and green coating on copper. So you would have seen that gold jewelry is very common, and it's very people like to wear gold jewelry because it is very shiny and it does not lose its luster and shine because it does not oxidize. But somehow silver jewelry sometimes gets black because of the corrosion, because of the continuous exposure to the oxygen and water. It corrodes for a shorter period of time. And also you would have seen when you store water in your copper vessels, the copper vessels from the inside inner portion becomes green in color. That's also a form of a corrosion also weakens the iron and steel objects and the structures, other structures such as the railings, any object which are made up of metal, especially of iron. So the objects which are made up of iron, like bridges, like cars, so they also damages them. So how can we prevent the metal, especially iron, from corrosion? Because iron is very hard metal and we use it very widely in the preparation of many things. So we have to prevent this corrosion. Otherwise the iron will get weakened and it will be eaten up and it will be damaged. So we can also paint the metal, especially iron, so that it does not get oxidized. It will not come in the direct contact of the air and water. So we can prevent it by painting, or we can apply grease or oil. You would have seen the carpenter, worker applies the oil and grease, and then they paint the gates and railings and bridges. And the other is galvanization. Galvanization is a process of coating the iron metal with zinc, because zinc is more reactive than iron, so zinc will oxidize first. Unlike the iron, the zinc does not the corrosion in zinc does not flakes off. It stays on the metal, and it provides a protective layer to the iron beneath, which is inside it. So galvanization is a very effective method. Then applying or alloying it by the stainless steel. We can also make alloy. Alloy is a substance which is made by the mixture of 2 or more elements. It can be metals, it can be non-metals as well. So we can make steel, and steel is, you have heard about stainless steel, so it also have carbon in it which prevents it from rusting, and it's also formed by the iron, so it's very hard. Then we can also plate it with chromium or tin. We can do electroplating. We can plate chromium and tin. You would have seen your bathroom faucets and cycles rims, tire rims. So they are very shiny because they are plated with the chromium or tin, making it shiny and luster. And also it also prevent the iron metal from the rusting. And the last is anodizing. That means coating the iron metals with the aluminium. So aluminium is also high in reactivity with the than iron, so we can also coat it with the aluminium. Unlike the iron, aluminium also does not flakes, and the corroded aluminium stays on the surface of the aluminium, although it does not shine, but it stays there, preventing the rusting of the iron. So the other topic, we were studying about the effects of oxidation. So the first effect is corrosion, and the second effect is rancidity. So rancidity is what you would have seen when you eat a packet of chips. Okay, if just you imagine that you have taken a packet of chips and you have eaten up the half packet, and just it is now the packet is open, and if sometime you forget to eat that and you just keep it in your almirah or outside just lying there, and after 2 or 3 days if you'll again eat the same chips, would they taste same? Would they taste good or they taste bad? Yes, they have a peculiar foul smell, they have a peculiar different taste which you don't like anymore. So that is because of the rancidity. Now rancidity is a condition, it is a it is a process in which the whenever we have a food which have fats or oils in them, so they get oxidized by the oxygen or by the air, because air has oxygen, so they get oxidized by the air, and they produces a very very unpleasant smell and unpleasant taste. And this is due to the this smell and taste of food material is because it contains fats and oil in them, so they become a very very unpleasant for us to eat. So it spoils somehow, rancidity spoils the food material which are made of fat and oil, and it also makes the food unfit for eating. So if you will eat that food, you may fall ill. So that is because of rancidity. So rancidity is a condition produced by aerial oxidation of fats and oil in food, causing unpleasant smell and taste, is called as rancidity. Now, how can we prevent this rancidity? We can prevent it either by adding antioxidants to the food which contains fats and oil. So we can also add some chemicals which will prevent the oxidation. So generally the antioxidants are the reducing agent. They will be preventing the oxidation. If there will be reduction, so there will be no oxidation. And when these antioxidants are added, okay, in the food, through the fat and the oil which is present in the packet or in any container, it do not get oxidized easily, and we can all, and it is safe from rancidity. So we can keep our food fresh and safe for consumption by doing this process. And so there are many other things like as butylated hydroxy anisole. So this is added in the food so that the food is, it will prevent the oxidation, so it will make our food safe. The next is rancidity can be prevented by packaging fat and oil containing food in nitrogen gas. So whenever you open your chips packet, your kurkure potato chips packet, you have seen that it is filled with air. It's we always complain that they are filled with air. So yes, they are filled with air, but that is not a normal air, that is nitrogen. So they are filled with the nitrogen, so there is no space left for the oxygen. So when there is no oxygen, there is no rancidity, and the food will not get oxidized, and it will stay fresh and safe for a longer period of time. Next is rancidity can retarded by keeping food in a refrigerator. So we can also keep our food in the refrigerator, because keeping our food at a very low temperature, the oxidation of oil and fat will be very very slow, at very slow rate, and we can also reduces the chance of oxidation. So keeping in the refrigerator is not very very effective, because we have to consume it within a day or two, but it can it can increase the shelf life of our food, because at low temperature oxidation also get reduced. Rancidity can be retarded by keeping food in airtight containers. So again, we can keep our food in airtight container, because it reacts with the air, it reacts with the oxygen which is present in the air. So if we will keep our food in an airtight container, there will be very less oxygen. So this reduced oxygen will also reduce the oxidation of the fat and oil which is present in our food. So it is also a very important step. Then the last is rancidity can be retarded by storing food away from light. So because this light also increases the oxidation, and if there's absence of light, the oxidation of fat and oil will be slow down. So it will slow down the oxidation, so the rancidity will also be retarded. So if the rancidity is not there, food is safe. So these are the steps how can we prevent the rancidity. So these are the important steps, sometimes they comes in exams. So please learn the topic rancidity and this corrosion. These are the very easy topics, but yet they are important. So by this we finish our chapter. So first chapter is completed. I'll be giving you some questions from the NCERT textbook. So you have to do the exercise questions. Please check your homework section. Till then, stay safe and work hard. Thank you.